So we are talking about line today, and you can choose to either use drawing to do your line, or you can choose to use paper to make a sculpture depending on what you have available to you. So it can be any kind of paper. If you are making a sculpture, you don't have to cut it. You can rip it if you don't have scissors. These are not cut out perfectly. It can be any color paper. It can be notebook paper, and you can color it yourself, however you decide. I just have like a small piece of paper to glue it onto, and I have 5 different strips, and I have some glue. And of course, you could also do this without the glue and just make the line. So I'm going to show you kind of both at the same time. So I am going to draw some different types of lines, and I'm going to do a zigzag line all the way across my paper. And I'm going to make a zigzag line with my other paper. I'm just kind of folding it like this, little pieces, back and forth like an accordion. So it can be folded flat, and when I pull it back out, it looks like this. And I want to glue this to my paper. And to glue it, I need to have feet to put the glue on. So for this line, kind of already have feet for myself. I've got one end here and one end here, and I can glue it like this so it sticks up, or I can glue both of my feet down so that it looks like that, and it kind of looks like a star. So you can choose however you would like to do this. This is just how I am choosing to do mine. I'm going to put glue on here. If you are using liquid glue, make sure that you are putting not too much. Dot, dot, not a lot. But for the stick glue, you probably aren't going to be able to see it, but that little white stuff, just a little bit, just enough to cover the piece you want to glue onto your paper. So I'm going to put one end right here, the other end right here, to make my sculpture. And this is definitely very abstract. It's going to be funky looking, but that's okay. That's what we want. Now I'm going to make sure you, ooh, Miss Davis didn't snap the lid on her marker. Make sure that I left it like that. Make sure you hear it click when you do it so you don't let your markers dry out. I'm gonna do a curvy line or a wavy line, like the ocean. And then this one's a little bit harder to do. You can't really fold it exactly that way. It won't stay that way, but you could make 2 feet on the end and give it one wave or one curl like that. So I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna put glue on my feet. And glue it down. That one's big, like a rainbow. So now it looks like this. And now I'm gonna do a curly line. And this one I think is definitely gonna be tough too, but let's see if we can do it. I'm gonna curl it around my finger and see if we can make some feet on each end. So I just made a little foot here and a little foot here. And you can kind of just twist it back up like that if you want. I'm gonna put some glue on it first. And put it down. And let's see, let me try to curl it with my hands a little bit. And then, see, this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see through it. Like this, and then I'm gonna put it down right here. So there we got a little curl. And let's do a wave with a peak, like ocean waves. You guys can do any kind of lines you want. These are just the lines that I'm doing. And let's see if we can do that. Make a foot on the end to make it easier for myself. And so I kind of put two folds in it and left this part round. And let's see if I can fold this over, curl this a little bit. It's almost like paper quilling. Paper quilling is a very intricate art form that involves, oh yeah, I think we got it. We got some waves there that involves kind of curling paper like around a pencil and putting it flat on the paper like that instead of like that. So it's a lot of the same methods that I'm using that I've done in paper quilling. So maybe we'll do something with paper quilling sometime. Let's see. I'm gonna put it under my rainbow. My waves crashing down. Let's do one more. Maybe a swirly line. So I'm just gonna do one swirl because I can't make my paper go through itself like that. But I'm just gonna give it one end, one foot on one end so that it curls and then sits on the paper with one end and the rest of it curls into itself. It looks like a playground or an amusement park or something, kind of some rides and interesting stuff. And so that's my swirl. So you guys do yours however you would like, however many you can fit on your paper. I'm gonna draw some more lines on here just as examples for you guys. Could do a boxy line. could do a much more crazy, wild, wavy line. You could do a line with dots or with shapes or something small, dotted or a dashed line. Could do parallel lines. Parallel is when you have two lines that are next to each other but don't touch. Like this line and this line. No matter how far they go, imagine they go far, far, far away off the paper, they never touch each other because they are parallel. We can do kind of a zigzag line that maybe you see on like a chart that's a lot more different, more like different mountains and stuff versus one that's even all the way across. I think I got room for one more. Let's do a line that intersects itself. So like a double line. Do a wavy line. And then I'll do one that's the opposite. I think this is a double helix is what we call it. But if you're drawing on paper or you're doing digital drawing, fill up your space, do something in the background. I would add maybe crayons to the back of this, color in all of the extra space, make it look like good craftsmanship. Don't do like I did and color with marker on both sides so it bleeds through. I'll get some crayons so that when I can color over it so you won't be able to see the color coming through. Because the markers are pretty dark. I think I'll color on this side. And I'm actually gonna use like the same color, but a different shade. I'm gonna go in rainbow order, I think. I'm just coloring super light, super soft so that I don't overshadow the line, which is my subject, my main part of my picture is my line. And my coloring is just the background. So I did blue up top because I want to do underneath it the color that matches the marker. So this part I can do very light purple. And then pink. Red. Orange. Yellow. And lastly, I have green. And I did mine in rainbow order, starting from this side, starting with red, going down all the way to the back, just because I like rainbow, but you don't have to do rainbow. You can do one color or do a pattern of a couple different colors, whatever you choose to do for this. This is just how I did my example. And here's my finished paper, my lines that go all the way to the edge. My background color is colored in all the way. There is no white space left on it. Here's my sculpture. It is glued down, it is dry, and you don't have to do both of these. If you want to do both of these, if you have materials to do both of them, you are very much more than welcome to do both of them or choose one of them to do. And don't worry about not having exactly the same stuff as me. You don't have to use crayons and markers on this. You can just use a regular pencil if that's what you have. For this, you can just tear strips of notebook paper and make lines. If you don't have glue, you don't have to glue it down on anything. You could color your notebook paper in first and then cut strips of it to have a different design on it. I could take this paper right now and cut it into strips to make lines out of. However you decide to do it, use your creative voice, your artistic choice, and make something awesome.